Hello, vaping friends. Ruby Roo here, back at you with the plumes of hazard, and we're late again. Oh well.
Son of a bitch! Welcome everybody to tonight's Plume of Hazards, where I don't even know how to unmute my microphone again still.
Oh, he's done. He's out. He's out. Done.
We lost. I think he froze too, which is
Welcome
No,
everybody.
no, he's there.
Hazard. We're very excited to have you all here.
I'm never gonna
We
get
have
a
got.
chance.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. There's Mass Blast 09 right there. See him? With the.
I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. I'm the Expo Vapor. Over there is Understudy 77 and
What's up?
Ubaka.
What up?
Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome. Maybe one day I'll be able to be as excited as I am and have a microphone on.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh, I'm excited. We got stuff to talk about today.
We do. Awesome guests, awesome excitement, so much stuff to talk about, and I promise my microphone will be unmuted.
A DNA 40 that scrambled again.
Yeah, show it up on the screen. Let's see it.
I like my eggs like my DNA screens.
I just fired it so it actually came halfway back, but it is a little off still. Isn't that awesome? Oh, DNA 40.
Oh, wait. Cat Public says I just have to yell nickel wire into it.
Nickel war!
That doesn't fix it.
You and your mic, that's what it
Oh, that would fix that.
Yeah, probably so.
I like how one of the comments already is it's going to be one of those shows.
was.
Yes.
Oh, fuck off.
Somebody else said it's always one of those shows.
It's
Well,
always
I
one of those
I got
shows.
so much shit before because I would do the intro and my mic would be on, and I'd be like do 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 do, making noises, not paying attention because I can't tell that my microphone is on because the music is taking over the volume level. So I got enough shit from people and Sean that I now politely mute my microphone before going, and I forget. So,
It is very polite. Hey, Foo, what are you vaping on?
Stuff. I got the crepe on the Odin as usual. That's like the crepe addy as I call it. I got shoulder on the Stellar. I went back to using my Titan beta because of J-Box, and then for my hands. But I threw some sweet.
So the Titans might be available for everybody else if the builder would stop playing Grand Theft Auto.
Did some dual parallels in there, 26. 5 wraps, 0.14. Shit is tight. Raspberry one, of course.
McLaren.
Yeah.
Good.
What are you vaping on, Angsty?
Today I am dripping on a, well, wait, it's a 1.5F ohm coil. I'm trying to drip on this DNA 40. Tobe, beautiful little chuff cap. And I've got dueling mass mod micros with the Rose, of course, with raspberry in it. And this one's also got raspberry in it. Oh, it finally came. We'll talk about it in a minute. And that's all I'm really doing right now. I've got other stuff going on, but that's it. Sean?
So I just want to say that Stereo Dreamer said we all need to rub one out right before we go on air so we're grounded and relaxed. What fun would it be if we were grounded and relaxed when we came on air?
Also, that's really not going to happen.
Wait, so if you're saying if I rub one out before the show, I can take off my tinfoil hat.
Cat Tumbly, why would you put that image in our heads?
Has the answer been in front of me the whole time?
The answer's in front of you the whole time.
All right, so I have the Vapor Flask with the K-Fun 4 with Raspberry Mint, and I have the Bat Mods with the Derringer.
Said flask.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. You got him.
With Lab Rat Liquids Brown Betty.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say what I was dripping. Fake blue.
Like a blue.
What's it, Basti? What do you got?
He's so protective now. He's like, that's it. You're not gonna mute me. Go. I'm vaping on my. Yes, I'm still not making one DNA 40 iStick and the Derringer. Spent a week since we last talked, and I had mistakenly built my Derringer with some nickel wire. The shit just stuck in there, and it's at a 0.07. And you know, just real quick, do you guys have a juice that you do a baseline on? Because I find myself sometimes having a juice that if I want to try a new build, I always go back to this juice because it's like my baseline. I know what it tastes like.
Yep.
I know yours is definitely raspberry.
You got it.
But you know, I just find that interesting. I think for me, my sweet one has been the one, you know, from Stashy Liquids that I can change builds and I can taste differences. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that on the Derringer, and you know, I like airflow, and I must say I've turned it down. I got it on 2 air holes now, because this thing's got some airflow, and I do have a drip tip coming in, an actual Praxis drip tip. I found one in stock because they're all out of stock. At least the stainless and the brass, and so we're gonna see how that does with spit back from it, because even with this drip tip, which is not super huge, I haven't had any issues. So
Yeah, I think
again,
crepe is
on a nickel build, not a cantho build. So.
Yeah.
That's what makes me wonder about the chuff top on the Derringer. You know, if he decides to put one of those out, because I know with as uber tiny as this little tobe is with the chuff on it, I definitely get a little.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Not bad.
All right.
Somebody just asked what we're running or what you're running the Derringers wattage wise.
I have mine obviously temperature protection. I have it set to 450 default, or just a little bit higher than default, and I have it at 40 watts. So
mine is at 33.7.
There it is, 40 watts.
So did you fix your iStick? Wasn't that busted?
Yeah, this actually got the scramble screen, but I was able to let it go to sleep.
Yep.
And have it come back on, and I just locked it and unlocked it, and it started working. But it was really weird, man. I've had this board for a while, and it's never done it. And you sent your message saying you had yours scramble up, and I was like, and then I literally maybe an hour later, my shit's all like Matrix style. So
yeah.
But you know, one of the things.
Did you have a colder day? Because I've heard a lot about temperature.
In Florida? No.
I'm just saying, man. It was like snowing.
I was in my fridge
last week.
No, I was actually vaping it, so it was warm. It wasn't super hot. But what I did notice was it didn't prevent it from working. I mean, the scramble was on the screen, but I was vaping fine. I didn't have to change my wattage up and down, so I just kept vaping on it. So that was, worked fine.
That's what I've seen so far, because this has happened twice on this little guy and several times on this guy. And if I let it go to sleep and come back, it's almost always right.
Yeah. So.
And the 40 puts itself to sleep, at least that temporary sleep, like in 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
It's quick. Yes, indeed. Yes, right. Ooh, I didn't scroll
news.
Too low. News. Ahmed, that's your first one?
So, there's a new MVP that is due to release. The MVP 3, not to be confused with Half-Life 3, is finally coming out. Mass, you want to pull up some pictures of that?
Yep, pulling it up right now.
And Angsty is
right picture.
Anyway, so if you're a member of my failed video that I sent to Sean of the SVD2, 20-watt tube, except this version is going to be 30 watts. with an Evolve chip in there with one of those, jitterbug screens.
Jitterbug.
3800 milliamp hour, I believe. From what I've seen, it's about similar dimensions to the original, to the previous version.
Yeah. Here is the image coming up right now of the first one.
What's really interesting, and you can't see the bottom in the images, I don't think, but it looks like a charger folds up into it, like a cable.
Here is, I'll have the images. Let me know when you want me to switch.
Yeah, so I like it. The thing is that I've been using an iStick for, with my K-Fun for a while. The size seems alright. I did carry around the MVP2 for quite a while, but my game is a lot of carry on something that's smaller. But this thing is very attractive in that you do have the engineering of Evolve and their chip in there, which I do enjoy vaping on with the K-Fun more than I do on the iStick. But the size for me is going to be a bit of a point of contention, and also I don't know what the price is going to be. I would imagine it's going to be under $100. I hope, because that's probably one of the best things about the MVPs. You couldn't get a better mod for the money for quite a while. So
I got an image of the bottom, Sean. I'll put it up.
All right, I was just grabbing one right now.
Yep.
I don't know. I think the thing I'm probably most disappointed about is that it's not a centerfire button anymore.
Which is funny because I dig all the ones that I've got that are side fires.
All right, so Sean's issue is that you can't vape like a douche on it. Okay.
Exactly.
There's an image of the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Dead ass. Pretty cool. I think that's the first thing I noticed when I saw one of those pictures. I was like, "Holy shit! That thing's got a friggin' built-in USB cable. That's fun."
Yeah, that's pretty fucking nifty. But if you've had a previous version of the MVP, the thing can take a beating through and through. I've dropped mine a million times.
Here's an image of the cable. Yeah. It looks like it's got a light in it too.
That's cool. What, a light?
LED. Yeah, it looks like a little LED. That's what it looks like.
Shit. And it recesses into the base.
Enhance.
So yeah, that's probably adding a little bit of size, but that's a really nifty feature if you don't got to carry a fucking charger with you.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, everyone these days carries a battery pack with them. You know what I mean?
I don't carry a battery pack.
It's still incredibly handy. At least in the city, everyone's got a battery pack, or someone needs to charge somewhere. Like, a lot of people take their chargers with them, but I think that's cool as shit, though. I'm gonna have to play with one because this, to me, when I vape on a K-Fun at 14.5 watts on it, it's like, although it's 2200 milliamp hour, I get a day when I'm just vaping my K-Fun. So I'm really intrigued to see, because I may end up wanting to get one. I may not get past the size.
It's gonna. I think it'll partially come down to price, and we talked about that a bit. I'm pretty much fine if it's $100 or less. I'll probably pick one up, and I think it's gonna be $90 to $100.
Yeah, I'd say wait till it's $50 because it will be $50 within 6 months.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be 70 within very soon if it doesn't come out like that. Am I still echoing?
Nope, you're good.
Good. All right. Word. Anything else? Ahmed?
Apparently, according to our good friend in Canada, the cable is for the external output, not input. Go figure.
Womp womp.
Fortunate.
He works at a vape shop now. Knows more than I do. So
Well, I mean, it makes sense.
That charge other devices thing, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it makes sense because they're going to be using the full-size USB or the micro on the one end, and then the full-size USB on the other. I'm sure. For charging.
It's just surprising to make a mandatory feature for charging other devices if you don't use it.
Especially making it mandatory micro USB because I'm an Apple person. I don't have that shit. Now, granted, almost all of my mods these days are all micro USB, but
not like the new Apple charge port looks exactly like a micro USB.
Except for its orientation agnostic, which is the best.
I just carry around an MVP to charge my other mods.
Oh, there's a screen.
The jitterbug.
Jitterbug.
I really
I'll
don't.
let your boy Project 2501. My scarf game is on point.
Yeah, I really don't like that bigger screen, though. I really don't.
I just don't like the font. It's too skinny.
I agree with that, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep, jitterbug screen confirmed.
Mm.
Got anything else, Fu?
That screen looks like some of the first digital odometers, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or speedometers, whatever.
You know.
And I've run my course.
Nice. Update USPS still sucks, but I do have the K-Fun in hand. Finally. Oh.
Yay.
Yay. It only took a month. I could have swam to the UK and picked it up and walked back to Texas, I think. But it is here. I did get it built. I got it this morning, literally. So I'm going to reserve most of my judgments for another show, probably next week. I would like to spend a little bit more time with it to be a little more fair, because it's not Spomesto's fault that USPS sucks. So I'm not gonna ding him for that. I will say, as far as the initial things go, wicking it like I wick my rose doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely takes a little bit more of a thing and some specific wick. Actually, I wicked it with Biwick first, with the same coil that I've got in this because I wanted to compare them. Obviously, the same juices in both. They're both on happy little guys here. It's good. I will say that it's good. The airflow is much better than the original K-Fun, which I like. Until I started vaping on some of the newer Addies. This is much more similar, much more comparable to things like the Squape R, much more comparable to the Rose. It's very, very smooth. I like that a lot. But I am gonna stop myself. But I am gonna say one more thing. Probably 30 minutes before the show went live, I was getting a little gurgling. I was like, oh, okay, well, why don't I take this thing apart and clean out the bottom like I would the Rose. So I took it apart, and as I was sitting there, kind of wiping out what little there was in the bottom, the little stupid spring in the bottom just went boing, and went away. So yeah, after like a month, I finally get it in hand.
It went back to its people.
It went back to its people. I was so pissed off. I was like, I can't believe that this is happening. I searched for probably about 10 minutes before I finally found it. But I did find it, so we're back to running, and I'm going to leave the rest of it to next show. I was going to talk a little bit about this week about the DNA 40, because now that I've had a couple DNA 40s for a little time now, at least a week or two, I feel somewhat comfortable about talking about it a little bit. I know Mass has had one for quite some time, but I will say that getting this thing running with nickel wire. Sorry, I didn't get close enough to the mic. Nickel wire. I will say that building it is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. In fact, Masty sent along some 28 gauge, which I haven't been able to find yet. And I built with that first. The resistance was actually so low with dual coils that didn't really work very well. So I have had some non-res nickel wire from, oh God, what was that called? The Sophia that I bought a long time ago. And that's a res non-res build. So I had some nickel wire sitting around that was 30 gauge. So I built it up with that, and even though it's a finer gauge, I didn't find it to be that bad really at all to build with. I got it spaced out just a little bit of a non-contact coil. It was rigid enough to where I could pull through, wicks okay. I didn't find it to be as irritating as I thought it was going to. But I will say that some of the things in here to get it to work properly that I had to ask Mast about was, to get it to turn on and reset itself, and then friggin', fire it a couple of times and then put it again that says new coil, then it finally resets itself. There's a few things about it that are a little fiddly, especially the fact that if you swap your addies, it doesn't always tell you about the the new coil, old coil thing, and then it would, even though it's reading the right resistance, it doesn't seem to be firing it correctly until you do the full cycling thing, which I thought was kind of wacky. Of course, we've got this screen scramble problem that I've now had on both of these mods. Fortunately, not the lockout problem, which is I guess that basically bricks it. But if you let it go to sleep, like we talked about a minute ago, it seems like it's cleared back up. I will say that I can taste a little bit of the nickel wire. It does have a little bit of a metally kind of sort of not pleasant sort of taste to it, but it's not bad. It is kind of in the background, and that's even when dripping a pretty strongly flavored juice like Vape Blue or Agent P from Bombies. I was also dripping that. While you can taste the nickel, it's really not too shabby. It's really not too bad. I do think the vape is a lot cooler. I've got it dialed down to, I think you said 450 was the norm, and that's where some of those tests are saying that that's where the cotton doesn't really burn. It'll toast a little bit, I think, at 450, but and that's basically what I've seen so far. It is a little bit cooler, but a really tasty vape. I got to say it's actually quite good, even though you get that little bit of the nickel flavor in the background. I don't like the bugs. The bugs are really annoying. It doesn't feel dependable like the DNA 30s. I know if I took this guy out, or this guy when it was a DNA 30, I know if I took those things out, it's gonna fire until the battery's dead.
Right.
I don't have that confidence in these guys, at least quite yet. But
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I am gonna keep going with it. I like the idea of it. I love the idea of not scorching your juice, not scorching your wick. I think that part itself is really cool. I'm excited about temperature regulated vaping in general. I want to like this a lot. I'll keep trying it. So that's it. The other thing was I did right about an hour before the show started, bought a Derringer. Thanks a lot, Chuff, for showing me that picture, and Mast and Sean. It's all your fault that I did go through and buy that. We'll see how that goes when it gets here. You guys seem like you've really enjoyed it, so
It's a very multi-purpose kind of Addy. It can do a little bit of everything, and it does it all pretty well.
Now, why do you say it's a multi-purpose Addy?
Because you can close it off completely, run it single coil, and hit it just like you would hit the Hellfire at the same size.
Yeah.
Or you can open it up way farther than the fucking tobe and take a massive long inhale and blow a nice cloud with it. I mean, it for as small of a package as it is, it legitimately can do pretty much every style of dripping.
And that's why I saw it when it was also last week when I think Mass was showing the angled airflow coming in. I mean, that's such an interesting idea. I kind of have to support it. Not to mention it's a UK. It's United States, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Plus, I haven't purchased a dripper. I realized this a while back. I haven't purchased a dripper since I bought this like in April this last year. I've just been using the tobe.
Yeah, that's the same here. I mean, the dripper, like, I'm talking about a big bore other than the Tai G and the, because like the Holmes, I don't really consider it the same style. This you can compare to the toe, so.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, because you said that as soon as you bought it, you said it's very tobe-like, and I was like, well, I really like the tobe. I love building on the tobe. I think it's a great Addy, and so I'm excited about this little guy just to do something a little bit different. And I think that's all I got. Sean?
I got my Derringer, and I just talked about that a little bit. It's really nice. I started it with a single coil, closed off air hole, as Fu said, so I can vape it at 8 watts. So I started it to compare it with my Hellfire, and it was really good. The flavor was on point. It vaped really well. The airflow closed off nice. Single coil worked great. Build was a lot easier than the Hellfire, though. Chamber size is about the same. For comparison, for anybody who is curious, that's the Hellfire and the Derringer.
Oh, wow, that's pretty close. Damn.
Yeah. They're both pretty tiny. The Hellfire's smaller, as in 19 millimeters. But, and then I put .5s on it and opened it wide up, and I've had it on the Massmod Mini and now on the BAP. And it works just as well, if not better than the Tobe. with the exception of no chuff cap, but I'd still be curious to know how a chuff cap would work because it's so small.
Because it's so small, and whoever, I think it was Andy in our hangout showed me the Derringer drip tip and how wide bore that was, and that made me get one because it looks good on it too.
That right there.
Yeah.
Nice drip tip. It looks good, and I'll tell you, man, I want to order a second one because it looks really good on the K-Fun as well.
What's that?
The Derringer drip tip.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's really good on the V4 as well, and it fits.
That's what I was going to show this guy. This is one of my old Omen tips from my old K-Funs, and it looks pretty banging on the 4 as well. Love it.
The Loki Lab router tip looks really nice on the Science of Vaping cap. I need one of those. Oh, another one of those rather.
The router tip is a nice looking tip. I'm not like a big drip tip dude, but that one's awesome.
So we have the announcement of winners from last week's giveaway. So we got over 3,000 views on that video. We are giving away 3 flasks to 3 different people. They've been randomized.
That's awesome.
The names are, and I'm sure that the Vapor Flask guys will post them as well, Oliver Jabolt, Ellie Studda, Green, and Aaron Alyssa Nichols.
Wait. There it is.
No, I was really expecting to say Flask get muted and then continue to say all the names of the winners muted and then blame Foo. That was no fun.
So back to the Flask guys. I mean, that was amazing. Thanks very much to those guys for giving that out because that's huge. That's huge. I hope you guys enjoy them.
Absolutely.
I'm jealous.
They are still giving away drippers, but the drippers are not done yet, and they will announce the people getting the drippers when the drippers are completed. So they're not forgotten. We will announce them in the near future. I just want to let you guys know that it's not there yet. Or we're not there yet. And third, and this is a cool piece of news, and it's not there yet, but I'm hoping it'll probably be there this week, so I figure it's worth talking about. Pretty soon, we should be on JRAP's site, and we should have.
We should mention we had somebody contact us and ask us about it, right?
We did. Well, we've had a couple of people that really wanted to get some plumes wraps and asked for pictures and stuff. So I got a hold of the guys at at JRAPs. I'm pulling up the images right now to talk to them, and I think they're going to throw us in the network section. I'll make a post in the Facebook group about it when that happens. Let me see if I can find the pictures. So yeah, here we go. I'll
check side chat real quick, Sean, before you do that. Is that okay?
Yeah, it should be okay.
I didn't want to make them. I didn't want to upset those guys.
So that's one for the Vapor Flask.
Wait for it. Wait for it. You're frozen.
Oh, am I still?
There it
frozen?
is.
There we go. So that's for the Vapor Flask. That is for the MVP.
You said Flask.
And that is for the SX Mini.
Yes.
So those 3 should be available soon through JRAPs. And if you're interested in a different mod, please let us know, and I'll get a hold of them, and we'll have a template drawn up, and we'll have whatever mod that you want thrown up there too.
And that's really cool of them to be doing that too. So
Great.
Thanks to those guys.
Big thanks to fucking JRAPs for doing that for us.
Yeah, man.
By the way, we're not getting kickbacks for that.
We are not getting kickbacks for that. Oh, IPv3 already, so yeah, sure. That's it. That's all I got. Mast
with a list of things to talk about tonight. I love it.
The list, and you know what?
love
I'm gonna go real quick because of our awesome guests. So, all right. First thing, right off the bat. So I got my. Let me put this over here so I can see it. I got my Holmes V2. There it is, right here.
What up, Holmes?
Showed pictures from Sig Green with the box, and I ordered it from Origin Vapes. And I had to call them the next day because, as I was, like I always do with anything that I get, cleaning it off, cleaning all the internals, soaking it, just basically cleaning everything out, I noticed that the base on the airflow control and the airflow area only had 2 holes in it. Well, there was a post on Reddit about someone saying that the performance of their homes was not as good as the version 1, blah, blah, blah. So I asked, how many holes does your base have? And they also said 2 instead of 4. Now, mind you, the airflow control ring has 4 holes in it. This only has 2 drilled in. So I called Origin Vapes, and I believe the guy Eric there was very nice. He says he's got a message out to Segreen to find out if it's really supposed to have 4 holes or if it's only supposed to have 2 holes. I'm going to be very disappointed if it's only supposed to come with 2 holes, because that was a nice thing about the Holmes version 1, was that much airflow that you got was great. And you can always close the holes off with the airflow control. So I don't know. I'm starting to get the feeling that the first ones that went out were not quality controlled very well. So I'm hoping that that's the case, so I can return it and switch it out and get a 4-hole one. But as of now, I haven't built this one. I haven't done anything with it because only 2 holes. So we'll keep you guys updated and let you know about that next time. Next thing I want to talk about, and I want to put the images up on the screen, is if you guys have seen the Dimitri box. It's a solid piece of aluminum, milled mechanical box, dual 18650. Well, it's been cloned. There's a picture of it. Fastec has it on sale or whatever, $30. It's very interesting because the machining and all that on the Dimitri box is really nice. And this one's got the solid piece of Delrin in there and everything like that. But I don't know. I'd be kind of wary about a $30 mech box. So there's a few of the pictures there. I've heard people who actually have the legit one that it works great.
It does.
Have you used one?
Yeah, well, one of my old coworkers snagged one. He's like, yeah, it was $200, but fuck, it's nice. I mean, it's a pretty beefy box, but
Yeah.
it's got like a thumb fire button on top. It's it's a mechanical switch, which is nice. I like it.
Now, if I remember correctly, that one has it also has there's no springs in the mod itself, right? It uses 2 screws on the bottom to tighten up the batteries.
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So there's that. I mean, they're fast on it. The next thing that I want to talk about, dealing about mech boxes, is your guys' friends at Fastec also have come out with a new mech box. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is an 18350 mechanical box.
I'm just seeing a blank screen, Mast.
Mm.
Oh, there it is.
My
So
eye-
the only upside to this is when you shared that earlier, I said the only upside to this is at least the button is closer to inspect for the amp limit now.
Dude, okay, so one of the guys on the Plumes Facebook page, he actually reached out and sent me a message with this, and yeah, there you go. It's a dual 18350 mod, and I have another picture coming up here. I honestly don't know. This is probably gonna get somebody in trouble, because dual 18350s at the most. What are we talking about? 12 amps, if any. For 2 of them, maybe 8. If I mean, I don't even comprehend how they came up with this box. But anyways, there's a clear box. There's another shot of it. So there you go. It's got an adjustable 510. Woohoo! So stay away from that crap. That's the stuff that'll make you blow up. Okay, so next thing, since we're moving right along, was yes, my iStick DNA 40 bricked on me, and like I said, I was able to release it. I honestly, I really want to know what actually caused it, because I've had it for quite some time, and not have any issues with it. So I'm thinking about leaving it out in the car during the day, see if I can get it to replicate and do the little matrix screen. And again, it is a version 1 board. So
Look what mine just did. It's going crazy.
Oh, nice. That's weird. Yeah, so there, it's all kinds of stuff. Tonight's the night for the DNAs to be acting up.
Ford Pinto mods.
I think I was the most skeptical about the DNA overall, and I'm the only one who's not having problems with them.
It's because you're not using temperature control.
Now that you said
that's true. You're not using nickel wire.
Nickel wire. Maybe it is a nickel wire. All right. Moving along, last but not least, I just wanted to touch on a rant that was on Reddit.
Hold on, we're saving that one.
What DNA 40 mods do you have anyway?
We're gonna do that specific rant with Ruby.
Yep.
Okay. What about the part in my notes though?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm not going to talk about that rant.
Okay.
But anyways, it was spawned off of a rant about how you obtain stuff in reviews and all this other stuff. But basically, it's from the company's side. Okay, so juice manufacturers and mod manufacturers and all that. Leading into our predictions. And I know we're going to talk about those also for 2015. I have heard from multiple companies that to basically the thought has shifted from let's mass market this. Let's throw all these bottles of juice out at a convention. Let's give away 10 mods on this show. Let's do all this. I think someone in the marketing department is saying, wait a minute, and a lot of them are starting to realize that type of mass marketing isn't really getting their return that they're wanting, because a person gets a mod, yay, they use it, they trade it, they sell it, done. And what they're starting to do is they're starting to look for reviewers or groups or anything like that where they can put the mod in their hand and have them try it, and them not officially give it a review, but actually talk about it or use it or put it through its paces to see what actually happens with it, which I find very interesting. And there's quite a few high-end companies out there, and I'm talking about mod manufacturers, accessories, stuff like that are drifting away from the mass giveaways to more pinpoint,
more targeted.
More targeted, yeah. Picking who they're.
Yeah, I feel like it's because the marketing's maturing, because vaping is still a very young industry, and it's starting to become its own, like any other industry. Like pinpoint marketing. If anyone knows, like the Academy Awards, for instance, everyone who goes, like all the celebrities who go, they get, like, I'm sure you've heard about the gift bags, and it has like the dopest shit in there, from like cell phones to jewelry to everything, and they don't give that shit to anyone else. They specifically give it to celebrities because they're going to wear it and you're going to see it and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So vaping, it's like a step closer to vaping becoming more legitimate, and because of how oversaturated the markets are, the mass marketing thing is just not paying returns. Like like Mass said, it's just that shit is played out like the Jerry curl.
Yeah. Yeah, so, note to people who are trying to be aspiring reviewers or anything like that on YouTube, and they're just going to say, oh, well, I have 500 followers, send me free shit. It's probably not going to happen. And good for the businesses, I make mods. I've had people ask, and obviously once you get to a certain size, you do have that marketing fund that you can use to be doing giveaways and promotions and stuff like that. But it's really good to at least see that companies are just stopping and thinking for a second. Is this really the type of marketing we want to be doing with our product. You know, instead of fuck it, give it all away. If 100 people have it, the best. You know, so kind of cool.
So the interesting part about that, and the reason why I'm just going to go ahead and pull in our guest right now.
Yeah.
And before we even do the introductions, I want to get her thoughts on this. So by all means, jump into this conversation. What are your thoughts?
Well, hello there. Thank you
Hi.
for having me on the show tonight.
Hi.
Hey. What's up, guys?
What's that?
So you want me to chime in on
Yeah.
targeted giveaways?
Or just how companies are treating getting their mods in front of people.
Targeted
Campaign
kickbacks.
marketing.
Have you seen any change in that personally?
I don't think I have. I don't know. I haven't experienced that personally, really. The only thing I could say is Inikin sent me the Lily a long time ago, which was bad, really bad.
The girl vape?
It was bad, and I'm like, they're sending it to me because I'm a girl. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I personally haven't really experienced it myself, so.
Well, you're kind of big time.
Oh God, no! Don't say that. I'm just a weird girl making videos in her dining room.
And I think too it was more geared towards you know, just mass giveaways, not necessarily, you know, the reviewers. And that's
Right.
what I was basing it on is you know, I'm thinking that a few of the companies are just saying, hey, we really want to put this into somebody's hands who's going to use it, who's going to give us a truthful review. And you know, because I know that there's been a lot of companies that would rather you not do the review if it's gonna be negative,
Yeah.
versus actually coming out and saying, you know, this thing is garbage. So it's
We've
very
also-
interesting how all that plays out.
We've seen this boom, too, even on the reviewer side, though, of reviewers. We've seen this boom of vape reviewers, and a lot of them, I mean, look at some of the modders and or juice makers that we know personally.
Mm-hmm.
They get
Yeah.
multiple emails a day from people claiming to have just started reviewing, or they are reviewers and they are going to promote the product. Please send free stuff.
Oh
Please
my
send
gosh.
stuff and I'll promote. And I mean,
Don't
dang.
do that. If you are a person who wants to start reviewing stuff, do not beg for gear. Oh my gosh, review the stuff that you already have. Buy some gear that you're interested in, and then review it. That's how all of us start.
I got my start like that.
Yeah, like you don't ask for gear. I've never approached a company and been like, hey, can I review that? Like, it's just not what you should do. You know, don't be a douche.
Words to live by.
Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche. Mm-hmm. So we got on the outside that we should actually introduce you.
absolutely.
Fully. If you've been living under a rock, this is Ruby Roo. She makes awesome vape videos, and she's got a few things that she does. I think that is a lot of fun. Sets her aside from other reviewers, and one of which is she sings. So I want to say thank you for introing.
We've got a question for Ruby from chat.
Oh, okay. I haven't been looking at the chat.
From Stash E-Liquids, he asks, do you worry about lawsuits for bad reviews?
Ooh,
From what e-liquids? Oh,
that's a good question.
No, it's a guy that we've had on before, Stashy Liquids. He's asking you the question: do you worry about any legal ramifications if you ever posted a negative review?
no, because it's all my opinion. And if the company ever pulled that on me, I'd probably react very poorly. Honestly, that's ugh. It just reminds me of the stuff that happened with Amerivape. That's hot. I don't want to get involved with that at all.
I think the problem is any small company that tried that, and it would be likely to be a small company that tried that, if it ever got public that they did, it would go really poorly for them as a company because
You also have to prove, like in this instance, like slander or whatever it is. You have to prove an intent to harm for anything to happen. And most of these companies would bankrupt themselves through the legal process anyway. vaping will get to that point. Not quite there yet in terms of flexing lawyers and such.
Sure. Should we take that question?
Somebody asked if you ever thought of upgrading from dial-up.
No, I think
I'll have you know, she calls her mother collect. Okay.
Mhm.
She was fine just until a minute ago. I think
Yeah.
everybody's looking at her.
Yep.
Do I look like a Minecraft character?
Your
might-
voice is roboting out a little bit.
She might have to reload.
Okay, I'm gonna reload.
Word.
Okay. Reload.
Hold on.
But yeah, that is actually a good question about the being in legal trouble when you post a bad review.
Yeah, I mean,
I do think that we're at such a point right now, though, where if somebody came at you, it would cost them so much money financially. From a what happens when that becomes public standpoint, that a company wouldn't even dare at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I drew a parallel during the reviewers queue with video game reviews.
mm-hmm.
What was the last time IGN gave a major studio game a bad review? That's the thing. It's gonna move to, I feel like, a blackballing system.
Yeah, probably
It hasn't
so.
already.
That's probably true. There's another question from Stereo Dreamer. Is Ruby following the primary rule of internet video shows? And by that he means, are you doing the show sans trousers? Because the Four Plumes guys totally are, as are most of the audience.
Wait, you guys don't have pants on?
No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, do you guys want to see my pants? Hold on.
God.
I can't. I'm wearing pants.
All right, so she's breaking the primary rule, and that is okay because otherwise that would be bad.
Yeah, I'm
YouTube
not
would
doing
probably-
that.
YouTube would probably take us off the air.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm wearing some very comfy yoga pants tonight.
That's where to be.
Mm-hmm.
Where to be? That's an existing question we already talked.
So questions aside, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your channel and what makes your channel different?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I started my channel almost a year ago, and I reviewed devices and e-liquids, and now I sing and act really goofy, and we have a vape pairing at the end of every video. I don't know. I just do my thing.
Well, I think that's important. I think the vape pairing thing is a very unique twist on things, which I think is fun. And we haven't asked you tonight what you're vaping on and with.
Yeah, you should ask me that. I even prepared.
Okay, so hold on. What are you vaping on and with?
Okay, I have a couple of setups here. I have my Sigelli 150 watt.
Ooh.
Ooh, and I'm vaping at a very brave, come on, Sigelli, a very brave 40 watts.
Hmm?
With a tugboat, of course, they're my fave. And I've got my Chick-fil-A Hexam and another some Gaslight Vapor Supply tugboat. Vaping Art drip tips.
Do you say Vapin Art?
Yeah, it's French, man.
Oh. All
Oh,
right.
like Librat liquids? Yeah.
Full bright liquids.
Librat.
Somebody in the chat just said, I used to review. Oh, I think
doing
somebody
robot?
watches on Netflix or something. Maybe torrenting some movies.
Shit.
Yeah, Netflix. Somebody on Netflix will kill your bandwidth in a hangout. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
there was a follow-up for that previous question. So Stereo said, don't worry about it because when the Plumes do wear pants, they wear yoga pants too. So, that's probably accurate.
I'm actually wearing pajama bottoms.
Come on.
Dude, I wear pajama
I-
bottoms all day.
I don't think anyone wanted to know that shit.
Seriously.
So what are you pairing with? Did you get to that? I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even talk about what liquid I was using.
Mhm.
Am I still like a robot?
No,
Should I
you're-
fix
you're-
that?
Nope.
you're better.
No,
Nope,
you're good
you've gotten
now.
better.
Do
Okay,
I?
good. I have some Carnage.
And a blow.
I freaking love these unicorn bottles, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So much easier.
Everybody's going nuts for that juice too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys, it's good. Ooh. It's really good. And I also have a secret juice right here that I can't talk about.
Secret juice, huh?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I'm just testing it for a friend.
So you're so the animal that's the red vine one, right?
Yes.
They also have Looper, which is good.
Yeah,
Right.
Looper is nice.
So what goes with red vine?
Everything. I have a wine cooler tonight. Be freaking boring.
In a pickle jar?
Yeah, it's a pickle jar.
All right, we're in college again.
It's like when you buy pickles, I make sure that I get like the medium size because then I'm not only buying a jar of pickles, but I'm also buying a glass.
Very nice.
Medium-sized pickles. There we
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
You all right?
size jar, butthead.
Oh man, you meant something else by that. That's funny.
I do have to give Ruby some credit though, because I think she's probably one of the only reviewers that we've had on that can actually go toe to toe in quips.
Yes.
Bring it on, bitches.
She's got more balls than all of them.
Absolutely.
I have the biggest balls of them all.
Matt from Suck My Mod would be like, yeah, you probably got your shitty vape from the vape store.
That's possible. He might say that.
Hi, Matt.
He can't help it. You see Whomper's picture?
And oh my god. Nick would probably just give us a standard, why are you guys being mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna be mean?
Oh, boy.
She's starting to pick up now. So
Yeah.
I've got a question from Tressie. Ruby, what vape do you pair with egg and bacon breakfast, and what do you pair with coffee?
ooh.
Well, interesting question. I pair egg and bacon breakfast with Carnage because that's what I make all the time.
There you go.
And
Egg and bacon and Twizzlers. Awesome.
yeah, Twizzlers, red vine.
So, excuse me, red vine. That's true.
And I would pair nothing with coffee because unfortunately I can't drink coffee anymore. Tears.
Tears. What brought the whole pairing thing together? Like, are you a mixologist or a bartender by trade or something? Or what?
Well, I come from the beer world. I used to work for New Belgium Brewing in Fort Collins, and I was a flavor analyst at there, and I also poured beer in the tasting room and gave tours, and it's like, hey, welcome to the brewery. Here's a beer.
Which is the best thing for any tour guide to say.
Yeah, have a beer, or
Have a
7.
beer.
We used to have lots of beers on the tour. If you're in Fort Collins, go on that tour because it is so much fun. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy talking about flavors and I enjoy having tasty adult beverages. And so as soon as I started vaping, I pretty much started doing pairings. And then when I started my channel, I thought it'd be a really fun thing to talk about.
Sure.
So now it's a thing. And everyone thinks I'm an alcoholic. Yay!
Nick's got an entire vlog about beer now.
Mm-hmm.
It was bound to happen.
It might be.
Don't forget to drink through that head like a man.
Like a man.
I'm just waiting for the eventual comment from him on this video.
Right. So was that your doing, by the way? Is the whole craft brewery Grim thing, is that your fault?
I'm not sure. Nick's always been a beer guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't take credit for it. I don't know.
You should just take credit for it.
Okay, I take credit for it. Nick's beer drinking is my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask that question. That's ridiculous.
I think I know what one you're talking about.
Questions.
That's not very nice.
Is it the Vaping question?
Yeah.
Someone said that girls don't Vape. Yes, we do.
Well, no, you can't Vape if you don't poop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, girls poop, so it's cool.
Whoa, shit. Okay, I'm not. Plumes is not a progressive show. Okay,
I'm out.
Oh, he gone. He gone. Yeah, I have enjoyed a Voop. I need to get one of those Voop Life shirts.
Hey, we have those. We sell those shirts.
Well, I need to order one.
Those are Plume shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need to get one.
You can probably make that happen.
Well, I'm not asking it for free. I'm just saying I need
We didn't say we were going to give it to you for free.
Good, I'm gonna
You come to the wrong show.
Hashtag kickbacks.
Can you guys give me a free shirt and then like a vapor flask and maybe you can hook me up with? I'm just kidding.
Sure,
no.
we gotta shoot it. We gotta shoot it out of a cannon, and you gotta be standing in the crowd of like 300 people for one shirt, okay? and it'll come in a glass tube, so with not a child safe dripper top.
Oh, I know.
So those unicorn bottles have been coming. I just saw them just probably 3 months ago or something.
Yeah, they've blown up.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Honestly, it's so great when you're to fill. My husband has one for his e-liquid, and to fill a K, like he uses K-Fun, and it's so much easier to fill with. Ugh, it's great, and I love it for dripping because you can like draw. You just like draw on your coils.
We've been using these for like 1.5 years, 2 years, and they same thing.
It's you just jam that thing in the K-Fun and squeeze, or the dripper same thing.
Yeah, you just kind of like poop on it. Just
like a perfect pet. Perfect.
It's nice to see the mainstream market catching up to good bottles.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I have no problem with like glass dropper bottles, but I get the glass dropper bottle in, and then I put it in my own bottle because I don't know. I like glass droppers, but whatever.
Do those long? I guess you're calling them unicorn bottles, but does the cap seal pretty good?
Very well.
If the bottle's under pressure. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because that's one thing that I was wondering.
It doesn't leak.
Okay.
Like I know this is crappy, but it does like seal at the top.
Okay. Yeah, because I figured, you know, with those, more and more people are going to be inclined to be carrying them in their pockets because they're slim. And I wondered about, you know, having that, you know, that cap, how that cap worked. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like the clear version, which is the non-child-proof version, but they also have ones with like the white cap that are child-proof, and so if you want to go that route, you can as well.
Cool.
That's cool.
Do we want to take a second and talk about some of? Well, I suppose we should start with some of the best setups that you have tried.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I have a best of video coming up, so maybe this will just be like a little preview for it.
Ooh, preview.
Ooh.
I like preview.
Like best setups.
It's got the long intro.
I guess. I really like. I know that you guys have feelings about hexams, but I freaking love my hexam. The V2, the V1. I purchased a V1 at VaporCon West in July, and then I received this one in for not that. That's the wrong mod. This one.
I was gonna say Hexam really changed their design.
I received this one in for review. I did a video on it. So the Hexam V2 I quite like, and I said this in my review. You kind of need to treat it like a mech. Don't build crazy low on it. You know, and I know that there's some issues that it doesn't have the capacitor in the board, so you know your switch might shorten the life of the board and everything. So I don't know. I don't know. It has a lifetime warranty, so I don't care really. And I never vape that high anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I do enjoy the Hexams quite a bit. Tugboats for days. I like the V1s a lot. I like the V2. I've really been enjoying the Sigelli products as well lately. This is the 150 watt.
So I got to use the tugboat, and I'll let you rant right after this. The tugboat competition cap.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's a terrible design.
Yeah.
It comes with competition tweezers.
It's this really tiny metal drip tip, almost chuff tip kind of thing,
Yeah.
on a sealed body that gets super hot.
Yeah.
Like, super hot. And the drip tip gets super hot. So I would call that a fail on the competition cap.
Yeah,
Well-
I feel like you could just use. You can actually fit the chuff tops, I think, on the V2. So I'd probably go that direction if you are looking to competition on a
So they have
tugboat.
the steam stack for the V2 as well. I don't think the chuff tops fit, not the current ones.
Oh, they don't. Okay, I don't know for sure.
But they do have the steams. I think they're called steam stacks.
Yeah, they have the. I think they're Delrin versions.
But those aren't competition caps.
Oh, because they're not labeled as. They're not like marketed as
Yeah.
competition.
Oh man.
I'm leaving you set up for your rant here.
All right. I feel like I need to vape first. Hold on.
Yeah, do it.
It's rant time.
Now that
Okay.
also that Hexome has that Hexome has the flat 510 also, right? It uses the Veritube one.
Yeah, it's the Veritube. It's not the Fat Daddy. It's thinner.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rant
Which
time
is
with
nice.
Ruby Roo.
Okay, rant time. Please, dear manufacturers of vaping-related things, please stop calling things competition. It's like it just brings the douchebag level of vaping that much higher. It's so stupid and it makes me mad. I don't. If you want to join a cloud competition and do your thing and blow sick clouds, that's fine. Do that. But I just don't like things being marketed as competition. It just pisses me off and makes everybody look like a douche.
You don't have to get competitive about it. Shit.
I know. I don't want vaping. Ugh. It bugs me.
Vaping is a competitive sport, soon to be on ESPN 5.
There's
Right.
been a few meets that I've seen recently that have flatly refused to do any sort of cloud comps and that kind of thing because for that very reason, right? I mean, it's a little risky in some places.
Yeah.
People are building too
What's wrong
low.
with competition tips?
I was really hoping you'd bring that out tonight.
That not a joke.
Competition. You got to have those competition drip tips. I mean, seriously, it's a new not a chuff.
So I don't have one of those, but what they do a lot of in New York City is road work, and they always or underground work, so they'll have like that big steam pipe coming out. So I try and like I need one of those.
Yeah.
I don't mind if people want to blow really great clouds. I just want it to be safe.
Yeah.
And I don't like that manufacturers are using competition as a marketing ploy. It's a ploy, people.
Well, here's the thing.
Don't.
Though.
Ugh.
They'd go for something equally as douchey if it wasn't called competition.
Yeah.
They just pick a different douchey word.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I was actually watching Top Gear the other night. They're talking about how turbo was just used in everything in the 80s.
Yes, wasn't that in their
It was in the
Saab?
Saab.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, when they talked about this.
I'm surprised that people, the vaping hasn't done the HD. It's that new HD vapor, because here a few years ago everything was fucking HD.
Everything
oh look,
is
it's the HD torch, and you also have your new HD flashlight for the HD sunglasses that you have on.
Oh, the HD sunglasses, that was so
Remember
fun.
those?
Yeah. You can see the world in HD. Like, the world already exists in HD. You just look at it. And it's there.
Dude, that's deep. That's deep. That is.
Maybe that'll take off. I want some real.
Life can be in greater HD. Have you ever gotten your windshield replaced and driven with it that day? That is HD.
That is
True.
HD.
True. I'll accept that. I live in Colorado, so there's just constant tiny rocks. Everyone in Colorado just has pitted windscreens. You can't get away from it.
It's tinfoil hat time, people. Stereo Dreamer says, cloud chasing and the low-ohm build craze is a conspiracy by the big juice vendors to sell more.
I agree with that. Absolutely. I actually had to edit that out of my. I just reviewed the Eric RDA, which is a competition.
It's why I vape shoulder bear, because I like to do my super sub only.
That's a competition bottle is what that is. That's
Bottle.
It is, and I had to edit it out, but I was like, you like super sub sorry Flitzy, super sub drippers out there must go through like gallons of e-liquid. It's expensive to sub
Daddy needs more juice, project.
That competition.
So here's a question that I haven't seen come up in chat yet, and I can't believe that it hasn't. Is when's the Ruby juice coming out? The juice line from Ruby.
Ruby juice.
Ruby juice.
Oh, that's like that's
It could be kosher.
probably not a name I would go with.
Yeah.
Made certified kosher by Ruby.
It's better than mass juice.
Mass
I
juice,
think
yeah.
Ruby juice any day. And now it's not spicy.
It's so better anyway.
Food juice would go over decent.
Ooh, food juice. I like food juice.
If you like a food juice.
Just remember, we have the trademark on curio cabinet juice.
Yes, we do.
What if I don't? The thing is, what if I want to make mine in a china cabinet?
Right.
Is that different than a curio cabinet? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm not sure that classifies.
Is that different than like is that like one of those couch and Davenport differences? I don't even know what that is.
The fuck is a Davenport?
Are you guys talking about furniture? Sweet
Yeah.
show, bros. Ow.
No.
It's a
He's not talking about furniture. He's talking about married people shit.
My grandmother used to call her couches Davenports, and I never understood why. She was very insistent that they are not couches; they are Davenports. I don't know why.
That reminds me of Wheats. There was a character that they nicknamed Davenport. Anyway, sorry.
I never saw that show. Was it any good?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Wait,
Oh, no,
I didn't
no,
know if
no.
that was good or if it was bad.
Yeah. I
No,
thought that was an.
No, that is good. I own all of the seasons on Blu-ray. I freaking love. Nancy Botwin. Oh man, I have a huge crush on Nancy Botwin.
Oh.
You heard it here first.
I heard it here first. This show's just got the ratings just went way up. Now we're talking about that.
Actually,
yeah.
I just watched a nice big spike in numbers happen.
Yes. Sick.
Cat Dumpling's asking, is food juice the liquid rinsed out of Foo's beard?
I already answered that. I said yes.
Oh, sorry.
Man,
If I washed my face.
To have some kind of track. What about worst?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's muted.
Muted.
What about worst devices?
Worst. Oh, that's. I think I kind of already mentioned that earlier.
Lily.
Yeah, the Lily. I mean, I like Inikin products for the most part. The MVP2 was such an upgrade for me when I switched from Ego batteries, and so that mod and Inikin has a strong place in my heart. But yeah, the Lily was terrible. It was terrible. It was like let's make a device marketed towards women, which I also think is dumb. And then let's make it be horrible. Like, let's just give it the world's smallest tank. The tank was like that big. It was tiny. It was not a good vape, and it was so just ugh. It was not good. So yeah, probably the Lily from Inikin. Unfortunately,
So
I hope that nobody out there is buying it. Just don't buy it. It's not a good vape.
I'm clearly not a woman because I'd be the ugliest woman ever. But I personally would have been very insulted by a device marketed towards women that was not only bad but also like kind of dummy proof. Like they tried to make it like really easy. That seems really insulting to me.
And it wasn't even really easy because you had like this little either a little e-liquid pod that you had to pop in to the the base of the atomizer, and then it would all of the liquid would just wick out of it, and then you had no tank. It was really dumb, and It wasn't even like I'm a woman, obviously, but it wasn't even like attractive to me. Like, not all girls like fucking flowers and jeweled shit. Like, it's just I don't get it. Like, I vape box mods and drippers. Like, nothing is pink.
Well, the thing is, Lou has a really good point in chat. He said the Lily was funded by Big Tobacco trying to prevent a drop in sales of Virginia Slims.
Oh, dear. Yeah, I never smoked those either.
We,
somebody also asked, what's the worst juice you've ever reviewed?
Oh, that hands down goes to hash juice. That was a pretty huge BS thing that happened very early on in my YouTube channel. And that juice was terrible, and I gave it a very negative review, and there was some significant fallout. So to hash juice, if you're watching, I'm sure you're not because you suck. Thanks for all the subs.
That's great. Drop the mic. Done.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, it was really bad. I'm pretty sure it was just like relabeled, very low quality China juice or something. It was not good. Ugh, it was bad. And I couldn't get a hold of the company. You know, I always try to communicate really well with vendors, and I couldn't get a hold of the company at all. So, yeah, it
Sorry,
sucks.
that question was asked by J Tyler82, who just yelled for me not saying his name. So there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Tyler, anytime you want us to mute him, just write mute. We got your back, bro.
Tech time?
Sure.
Can we let some more questions queue in during tech time?
Yep.
So I'm gonna try to mess with tech time a little bit here for you, Mast, so that people only see you. Right now it might look a little awkward in your
Gosh,
Sean's taking attention away from him.
Trying to go as fast as I can here to set this up. So.
All right, so everybody should hopefully only see you and not the little lower thirds down here. So the floor and entire screen is yours.
When he goes, you want to ask that question that's in the side chat there first?
Yeah, just give me a second to, because I'm still setting up, Sean.
Sure. How long have you been vaping, and what did you start vaping with?
Excellent question. I started vaping in August of 2013, so I don't know, 18 months ago, something like that. And I started vaping on like the very, very first device I had was a Fin, and they have recently sold out to Big Tobacco, so F them. Yeah, I had like a little Fin Sig-alike, and then I got a blue, and they're also owned by Big Tobacco now, so F them as well. And then shortly after that, I basically bought that while I was waiting for my order. I got an order in from Halo Sinks, and like the Halo G2 got me off cigarettes, and then very shortly after buying that product, I went to what tank was I using? I think it was an iClear 16, another Inikin product, go figure, and a Smoke Tech winder, like the little Ego winder, and I stayed there for a while, then moved up to MBPs, and then I started on the Pro Tank 2 and the Pro Tank Mini, and then just started rebuilding the heads.
And when in this process did you start your channel?
Actually, a little bit longer after that, I bought my first mechanical, which was the Turtle Ship V1, and my K-Fun Light Plus, which I still vape on almost every day. And then probably 3 months after that, I started my channel.
So on that same line of thinking, before I forget, what kind of led you to start a YouTube channel?
Well, I was really into ECF. Is that right? Yes, ECF. Jeez, I go there never anymore. Sorry, ECF. You got me started, so thank you, ECF. But I was really big on that forum. Not big, but I was very active. And then I just started watching a ton of videos and realized, hey, that be something I could perhaps try doing. And then I just started. I was like, yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So there was like a 2-month planning period when I was trying to figure out like exactly what I wanted my channel to look like, what kind of content I wanted to have, and then I made my first video. And if you ever watch that first video, God bless you, because the editing is really bad, and I ramble on, and it's not like video-wise, it's not a great video, but other than that.
And at some point after that is when Die Fly Die started up, right? That's when that.
Yeah, Die Fly Die Productions.
Yes.
My production company.
Which I really like, actually. I think that's really clever.
Thanks. That video was taken. I know, the fly. That video was taken by my husband because he saw a fly dying on the top of our refrigerator and decided to take a video of it. And then we took that video and then created my my outro video. So Die Fly Die.
Does he help with your videos?
No. No. Josh is a supportive backer, and
does he vape?
Yes, he does. He vapes on my old Hexome, my V1, and K-Fun. That's what he uses all the time.
Excellent.
Cool.
You ready, Mast?
I'm ready.
Right.
You got it all set up over there? Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on, we've shown you guys before how to solder on these 510s. Here is a new style Veritube. He's got these cool Veritube etchings down here on the bottom. That's kind of neat. But let me bring this back this way. Here's your standard whatever V1, V2 Fat Daddy. So one of the things that I wanted to cover was I've had a few questions, and I've had a few people ask me, hey, I've soldered my 510 in and I'm still having issues. I'm having issues with my atomizer sometimes working. I get a lot of check atomizers, stuff like that. So I usually, instead of running the person through a prompt like overseas tech support usually does, I just say, hey, send me a picture of what you got. And I wanted to cover because I can't stress this enough. I've seen probably 5 or 6 people who have taken. This is the bottom of your 510. Okay, here is your spring-loaded center pin. Okay, right in the center. On the other side, you usually have a nut, and you have your ground lug. Okay. I've also seen a lot of complaints about grounding. People will basically rip the DNA 30 or the Chana 30 or whatever it is in a HANA box, and they want to upgrade it to DNA 40 or something like that. Well, the HANA will ground to the box itself, and they'll have some issues. So this will help you. This is just a refresher because I've had so many questions about it lately. I've seen a lot of people take their positive wire coming into the 510 and actually solder onto the cap itself. Okay, and the problem with that is that now you have all the load being carried by the spring or a spring that's in the 510 instead of actually going to the center pin. Okay, so make sure that when you are soldering this, that you're not soldering to the outside, to the center, anything like that, anything around this cap. Okay, just like with the older style Fat Daddies, they have this brass cap. Even though the pin sticks out a little bit out of the bottom, make sure that you're not soldering onto the cap itself. And of course, as always, don't solder with the 510 together. Either one, whichever one you do. Okay, I know there's newer versions of this guy here, but the bottoms look pretty much the same. Take the cap off. Okay, pull your spring out. Pull your 510 center lug out. Okay, and you're usually going to have an indentation in them like that. A real quick and easy way to do this is you have 2 options. You can warm it up with the torch, and again, I always like to put a tiny little bit of flux in there, okay, before you go and solder, and have your pre-tinned wire, and I'm going to show you real quick, just using your torch. You just hit that, and my torch is out of gas, so we won't be using the torch. But hey, that's okay. That's okay though, because I just want to show, because a lot of people believe that they have to heat this thing up glowing red to be able to solder to it. That's not true. Okay, so we're gonna do it with the soldering iron, so you can see that it's about the same time in the heat time. So basically, we'll just want to touch it, get it warm. See, it's warm enough right there. Okay, and I have my soldering iron, my 40-watt soldering iron, like halfway. It's already ready to go. You can see that flux moving in there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll go in and drop some solder in the center after it's warm enough. Okay, that's it. That's all it takes, just a little bit. And try to keep it off the edges, and I'll show you why in a minute. We'll warm it back up. And get the wire in there. Hold it for a second. Okay, it's set. That's where your wire should be, okay, on this, not soldered to this cap, okay, because again, that's not making contact with your 510. So you're ready to put your 510 back together. Make sure this is cooled off. Take your 510, put your, and the reason you want to keep it away from the edges, it's okay if you get some on the top or you build it up on the top. You want to keep it away from the edges because that rides up.
Gotta move your hands up a little bit, Mast.
I see, it's like kind of zoomed in. That rides up and down within the 510. Okay, so you keep the solder away from that. That helps. We'll put our spring back in, and we'll put our cap back on. And again, you don't need a long lead here. The shorter, the better. Making contact there. Put your cap back on. There you go. Okay. Again, don't solder to the cap. You know, make sure that you have plenty of space. This is 18 gauge wire. You can go a lot bigger depending on what you're using it for. Okay. Now going to the negative, the ground. I always like to have a ground wire going directly to the 510, no matter what anyone tells you. Oh, it's not needed. You could use this. You can use that. A lot of issues are prevented by having a good ground. So I use a ground lug. You can find these on eBay. These are the zinc coated or something like that. And we'll take this guy. Okay, you could, if you don't have these, you can go right on the nut itself. Okay, and usually you'll hang your negative wire close to the edge, so that way you could put your socket or whatever it is on it. If you put it right in the middle, you kind of prevent that, but you could do it on the edge too. I've shown soldering on this before, and I think this one also. So real quick, we'll strip here and put some flux on this guy, and just a tiny little bit on this edge here. You don't have to put the wire through. I'll show you why here in a minute. We're just going to pre-tin our guy here, and I just want to put enough to pretty much just cover that. You don't need a whole bunch, just a tiny bit. And we will pre-tin our wire, and now run our negative, and this is where the helping hands really help. Depending on the orientation where you want this, just kind of before soldering this guy on, put it on here, kind of place it in your mod, see if coming straight out is going to be okay. You can be up to the side, you can be up towards the 510. So it really depends up to you and what box you're putting it in or what mod you're replacing the 510 on. So really simple. Go on there, get this guy up. Okay, I usually like to leave it off to the side just a little bit. There's our negative. Put this guy on and install it in your mod, and make sure that what you're putting the nut down on actually crimps down on that negative, and there you have it. There's your good negative going to your 510, and your positive going right down to the pin. Again, stay away from the cap, stay away from the corners of the center pin, and make sure that you do this outside of your 510 so you don't melt any of the insulators. There you go. You have it.
Word.
Word.
Awesome. I don't know if the video is going to switch back to like the little people at the bottom and all that stuff. So
We'll try to do our magic little Google fingers.
yeah, let's hope. I'll click on some random people and see if it works. There we go. So we'll see if
not,
that.
you got me for the rest of the night.
So we got a really good question, and we can kind of, I think, roll this in. We'll probably go a little bit over, briefly talking about predictions for next year, but let's start with a question from Project 2501 for Ruby. What do you want to see in the vaping industry going forward, and what do you feel is currently lacking in the market?
Great question. I don't know, I just like to see some innovations in batteries, honestly. I just want to see like high milliamp hour, high amp rated batteries. Even better than the ones that we have now. I just want to see people vaping safe and vaping forever, just like all day, forever, and you never have to change out your battery. I don't know.
That's my main prediction, is that next year we're going to move to lipos for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
Higher rated. And I mean, we're starting to see it. The MVPs, the Solara, we're starting to see a lot of lipo devices, but I really think the market's going to shift because they can handle a lot more load and you can get a lot more milliamp hours in a smaller package.
Yeah, I just like to see some innovations with batteries, even beyond the lipo. Like, I know this is the end of this year, or the end of last year rather, was all about box mods, and hey, I jumped on that train. I love my box mods. I hardly ever use my mechs, honestly, anymore, unless I have one in for review or I bring one out just for fun. But I don't know, for mechanical users, I would like to see some improved technology with like 18650s, and even the little batteries too. I don't know.
I think mechs are pretty much on a downhill curve. Maybe in a couple of years they'll resurface, but I don't really think we're going to see much in the way of mechs.
It'll loop back around. I mean, it's too cyclical. It's always been like that. Even
350s and 500s.
Going back.
And we're kind of, I guess, rolling this into predictions for the year 2015 for all of us. So anybody else chime in as well?
We're gonna try to do that now. All right.
I'm going to be leaving plumes in about a month because I'm going to be replaced with Sean's ego.
Is it going to have a trough for water to drink?
See, the problem is that offsets our white to brown ratio. My ego is white.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why I'm going to leave.
Appreciate it.
I'm thinking we're going to continue to see some cool innovation in lower cost rebuildable tank atomizers. It seems like that's becoming more of a thing, which I'm pretty excited about. I mean, back when I started rebuilding, it was pretty much Jennies and then K-Funds, started creeping in, and now we've seen a lot of less expensive, the Billows and the Limos or Limos or whatever those things coming out. And I think that's really cool. I think it's good because obviously those that use these things, it blows a Clearo out of the water, right? I mean, like you can't even compare it. Now, we're also seeing some of the things like the Kangaroo sub-tank coming out, which I think is awesome. Regardless of the fact that it's 25 millimeter and regardless of the fact that it's plated brass inside, the fact that you can have a quickly and easily, and not cheaply, but quick, easy, replaceable head, as well as an option to rebuild it at the same time. That's not rebuilding Kangaroo heads, which is a pair. I think that's great, and I hope we see more of that kind of thing.
I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. The sub tank is nice.
Clearomizers are going to keep going too. We're going to see more low-ohm Clearos, Atlantises, more stuff in the vein of the Atlantis and the sub-tank.
More people going, is it me or does this Atlantis just eat juice?
Yep. But I also think that that's going to taper off the rebuildable market a little bit. And it's going to take longer than a year, I think, to do that.
Yes.
But I do think the rebuildable market's going to start to taper off slowly, and we're going to see less rebuildables and more innovation in Clearomite. Because there's more longevity and more money in making coils.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are. But
you can just build or buy coil heads forever, really.
That's sustainable income for the company making them. So I think that if that move is possible, I think we're going to see some companies start to make that move.
If they can, the problem is they're going to have to get their prices right? Because like the Kangaroo ones or whatever are $5 or $6 a pop.
Yeah.
and that's going to be tough for most people to swallow. Because and we've said this 100 times on the show. We recognize that we're like the 10% of the vaping market, maybe, right? Most people are buying their EVODs still. They're buying, and some of the people are venturing into the sub tanks and that kind of jazz.
That kind of what?
Yeah, no, that
Let's talk about the monkey in the room.
What's up with the monkey room? Let's talk about the monkey room, but I just said that. Yes. But no, that's tough for most people to buy, right? I mean, they're not going to go out and blow $25 on a little 5-pack of heads forever, right? Most people can't afford that. I'm not going to do that because I can build my own. I don't know.
I think there's still a significant number of people who don't want to rebuild.
Yeah.
That's certainly true, but I think that it would help their case if they can get the quality heads down to $2 or $3. That would help your case a lot, I think.
Or up longevity of them to last a month instead of 3 or 4 days or a week.
Sure.
Can't do that with a head. But literally, the technology's just not there. I don't think.
Well, think about it. We've seen a huge shift on the materials that the heads are using now, right? I mean, who would have thought organic cotton inside, like for example, the Kangers and stuff like that, just because they're listening to people saying, I don't want silica or I don't want, ceramic or whatever it was in those before, where before people, they didn't care. They just, it's just a wick, So
that's true.
I think one of my predictions is I hope to see a lot more custom boxes, machine boxes, people taking and actually, instead of saying, oh look, I'm going to throw two 18650s or a LiPo or this or that into a Hammond box, or this type of box or that type of box, actually thinking, how can I make this smaller, better, leaner, run a nice setup box. Nothing wrong with the Hammond boxes, but I'd like to see something like that. I'm kind of on the fence about 3D printing. I really feel that devices like these are awesome, and I wish that I could get these in people's hands for cheaper, but the print is still so expensive, and I know there's other companies other than Shapeways and stuff like that, but if just looking at a single battery DNA 40 style mod, after you get all the parts and pieces put together that hold the screen in and the lid and all that stuff, you're looking at close to $60 just for the print. Add on top of that the cost of the chip and the cost of the labor. Now you're really you're shooting close to $200 for a 3D printed device. And people will look at that and say, "We're gonna pay $200 for this? It's fucking plastic."
Yeah, never ever send that to me, because I'll say that it's a good price, and then people will rip me to pieces.
Oh yeah.
The Vap's $225 retail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's a nice box. It's a well-engineered box. It's small.
Right.
It's got two 18650s in it, and it's got a DNA, but it's still 3D printed.
Right, and that's the thing is that a lot of people will say, well, fuck that, I'm not going to buy a Vaps for what'd you say it was, $225? Okay, it's a 3D printed box. Well, when you price everything out, okay, fine, design the box yourself, put it up to Shapeways and have them print it. And I know people are going to start shit about 3D printing. Look, you cannot easily get a printer, a laser sintering printer like Shapeways uses, at your house. Yeah, you can have a 3D printer, a MakerBot, that's not going to make something that looks like that, because the resolution is not anywhere near that. It doesn't use the same technology. So don't confuse a high definition print to something that you can print at home.
Yeah.
And so you have to take that into consideration. So a lot of people will get excited and they'll design a box, and then to have their dreams crushed because now they're going to try to sell it to people. Well, the person now has to pay $65, $70 to have it printed at Shapeways. or $60 printed at a no-name brand company or whatever. I know there's other options. We're just going with Shapeways because they're the leader in the market doing this stuff, you know. So
I just don't know that 3D printing is cost-wise a viable option for the industry right now.
Yet, yeah. I'm hoping that 2015 brings down, you know, because let's face it, 3D printing's been around for a little bit. So let's see if maybe some of that cost can go down, you know, that's pretty much what we could hope for at least.
Well, I have a question really quick about like cheap 3D printers. So if you have a mod box printed on like one of the cheap ones and it's not as high definition, can you then just do like an extra like finishing process on it, like a hand finishing, like a hand sanding or something to make it HD?
Well, so usually what they do is the way that
Can you make it competition?
I'm gonna see if I can find one of the. I don't have one of the boxes. Actually, I do. So kind of like the box that Sean had, the soap box that Sean had. And we'll see.
I got to vape on one of those original ones.
Yeah. So these are basically printed. Joe Litt printed these guys, and you can actually see the texture, okay, of the print inside, okay, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. This box is strong as can be. One of I call it my beater box that I have given to people when I'm either fixing their mod or something like that, is made out of this material, which is the plastic. Now, you can get a nice shiny finish on it, like you see on the front, by doing like an acetone bath and stuff like that. But you're gonna still need to do a little bit of drilling and tweaking when you go put, your 510 in or, stuff like that. It gets you very close. And now, mind you, the Shapeways stuff isn't 100% because there's still some fitment needed when you're putting stuff together. But I think that there isn't anything wrong whatsoever to having a mod like this. Now, your print is going to be a lot cheaper doing something like this versus going to Shapeways, of course. But I think that if you have stuff that's a little bit higher resolution, like, okay, so you want your board and your screen all to be flat and inlaid to use the onboard buttons, and then have buttons made that push those buttons and stuff like that. I think you need a little bit higher precision to be able to do that. And unfortunately, price being an issue, the home printers, can't get there just yet. Like I said, I'm hoping that all that starts changing. Because even Shapeways is not perfect. I've gotten stuff from them before that I've had to, they've had to send me 3 or 4 different ones because, the dimensions aren't right, the way that it was printed, so everything is still a work in progress. But, the price is still very prohibitive, I think, to do, something, mass market like that.
There's definitely a quality difference from having
and there's a time issue too, right? Because you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks plus to get something 3D printed from them. If you know somebody local, then that's different. But for everybody else who has to go online and order it, you're gonna have to be waiting where you can go and buy an aluminum Hammond box, on Amazon, have it prime shipped, and you have it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Actually, got a really good question asked from chat. What temperature is a 3D printed box rated at? Could excess heat melt it?
That's another good question. This is where I haven't actually tested the temperature where one starts melting at, but that seems that is something that comes up. I don't think that you could get your atomizer hot enough for long enough while you're vaping to cause any damage, as long as the print has been made correctly. Meaning, like Joe prints the boxes super thick at the top.
Yeah.
I know the BAP is all built in at the top, so it's not like you have a thin piece of plastic. I'll say this: I will trust a 3D printed box more than a clear Hammond box, or the plastic Hammond boxes.
I was actually just going to ask you that, like,
yeah,
what you thought about like the clear plastic Hammond boxes, because they look super cool, but I don't know
They
anything
do.
about them.
They do, and unfortunately, the ones that I've seen have been usually on ridiculous. Oh, look, you can build .07 ohm coils on this thing and fire it with dual 18650s because this is an awesome mech box with a shitty button. But there's issues. I know I'm not going to name the company, but there's a company that has a mech box out that had melting issues with the Hammond boxes, and the reason was they were not using the stock Hammond box. They were going in and removing material to get their 510 to fit.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they were using a Fat Daddy 510 that was thick enough to dissipate some of that heat, it was still causing an issue. Would it have caused an issue with the stock Hammond box? I'm not sure because they removed a lot of material. But I think that inherently the 3D printed material is going to hold up. I would say about the same or a little bit better than the than the normal Hammond plastic. So I don't have a number. Sorry. Maybe we can. Coming up we'll do a melt test on a. I have some parts from Shapeways we can test, and I'll test some some pieces from things that Joe has printed for me. So hey, we'll give it a try.
Sure, I'm down with that.
We'll melt some shit.
Foo, predictions?
Stuff.
Fair.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What about things? Stuff and things?
No, that was like 2012, 2013. I don't know. I want to hardware side. I want to get floored by some really good juice. I feel like it's been a little stagnant in terms of like juices where I try and just like, oh shit, all right, this is some special shit right here. I haven't had one of those in a while. Looking forward to trying another one of those.
I think the last ones of those were Stash and Lab Rat.
Yeah. Looper from Animal's really good, but that shit's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's really good though. Ugh, it's so good.
I hope the putting LEDs inside my atomizer fad goes away in 2015.
Yes, Project 25 predict that I'll vape at least a liter of Choler Bear. That's not too far off. I'll probably go through a liter of it.
Another thing too is dealing with box mods. Now that Yeehee has released their inline charger for stacked lipos and stacked 18650s, that's going to help out a lot for the USB charging of batteries in series. So that'll be interesting to see what comes
Wolftech
out.
just brings something up, which I think is would be really cool. Is just wickless addies, and you can wrap some of your dripping addies to be wickless, which is cool, which I've done. It does work pretty well, but I would love to see something like that with like either a permanent wick, like the quartz fad that went by for a little while, which I never tried, but it's an interesting idea. But it would be really cool if they could put out something like Kanger-like that had a head you had to replace once every like 4 months because the coils went bad or whatever, right? We don't have to jack with clogging up wicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then I know there's been some talk of the induction-based mods too. And
Those are size problems, right? Don't I remember that? Like they can't get them small enough.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
But I'm sure this is going to be a big year in advancement of vaping. I will say that I'm positive that we're going to have a big year of advancements.
If the government doesn't shut it down.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and that's something that I hope people get out, get involved. There's we haven't mentioned it. I don't know if we were going to mention it tonight or what. The stuff going on in Louisiana, and there's stuff going on right now in Washington I believe,
State.
too.
Yeah.
Washington State.
Yeah, our boy over at Crescent City Clouds. We got you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're gonna do that next show. We're talking about that tonight, or pretty.
If you got it, you can talk about it now.
I don't have it in front of me.
No, that's fine.
I can pull it up.
We'll come back to that. I will urge everybody.
Yeah,
a while back we had Joe Barnett on the show, Keep an eye on the Vaping Militia page. They're really on top of this stuff. Pointing people where to go.
Project 2501. Sean's predictions. Shit gonna happen. And Flitz brings up a good point too. He was talking about the wickless edit. He goes, "You mean like a 510 atomizer?" And that's exactly what I mean. I mean something like that in like a tank format would be awesome. I mean, it would just be amazing if we could do something like that. That then you don't have to jack with, clogging up wicks and dirty wicks and whatever.
So is that about it for that? Because I think we have a couple final things to talk about, and we're going on 2 hours.
Do it.
We're going on 2 hours, so let's do it.
Point number 1. For anybody who hasn't noticed, or for anybody who hasn't seen, we won 2nd place in Guide to Vaping's Best of 2014.
Woo! Podcast! Woo!
Thank everybody who voted very much. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely.
I didn't even think we were going to be in the running, let alone place. So big thanks.
We had over 400 and some people vote. That's pretty cool.
End game strong.
Yeah.
Next week is our 1-year show.
Yes.
It will be airing one day before the first show. And in celebration, we're going to be giving away a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to tell you what any of it is. Or how to give it. There's only one giveaway that we're going to tell you about, too. And that giveaway is the Best Moments giveaway on the Facebook. You can post them on Reddit. You can send them to me in an email at theplumesofhazard@gmail.com. I need a show and timestamps, beginning and end, of Best Moments. And get me that, and we'll be kind of going through and sharing some clips of best moments of the show, and talking about them a little bit, and we'll be giving some stuff to people who submitted some of what we feel are the best moments that were submitted to us. That's going to be a big show. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm.
We will not have a guest.
Right.
We will not have a guest for that. We may have several people coming in occasionally, but we will not have a guest.
We will not throw bottles of juice at you.
We may launch glass bottles out of a cannon towards you, though, without childproof caps.
Are we still gonna do that? Are we gonna have the Master Blaster shooting shooting bottles of glass at Paper Slam?
Chuff already did that with the batteries. He's gonna shoot batteries.
Yeah, he did.
Shoot batteries out. And
Shoot
you
batteries.
get an AW, and you get an AW. Just start blasting them out. Samsung time. Blue, 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 blue. No.
I'll take one of the. I'll take the Samsungs. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ruby, I want to thank you for coming on the show with us tonight. It has been an absolute blast.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super stoked, guys. It was awesome to hang out with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mast, you gotta roll that video, dude.
As always, thanks everybody.
Wait, hang on, Sean. We got to roll that video.
We're going to end on that video, aren't we?
We are?
Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's always a pleasure, and it always seems to be more and more people, and that's cool as shit, and thank you guys very much. Mast has a very special treat for everyone tonight in a video to end the show.
In the form of a moment of zen.
Hang on, because
Moment of zen.
oh, Sean, I gotta convert it real quick. It's not
Oh,
your MP4s.
so we're gonna continue. I didn't whip that one through.
Actually, well, give a little bit of feedback onto what the video has to do about.
Some dumb fucking shit. That's what it is.
Yeah. So basically, this video was found on one of the awesome Facebook groups out there, and I have it up now. Basically, this is. How many? It's been what, 4 or 5 months since the 400-watt box, 5-6 months, whatever, made its debut, and I made the box to basically do a proof of concept showing, look, you're gonna keep going up on the wattage.
Right. I remember those quarter-second hits. You're like,
yeah. In that time frame, we did interview the guys who made a 500-watt box.
True. And you know, I just, you know, it's basically too much. You know, it's just gonna. I always wondered what the limit was gonna be. So I think we found the video, and I'm gonna let it play so I can stop it here and get it queued up. But basically, this guy just takes a hit, and here we'll go to it, see what happens.
Motherfucking beast box.
Motherfucking beast box.
Yes, let's see that again. That did just catch on fire.
Box.
And he goes out.
Oh!
Okay, that was on fire as he was inhaling. Okay, and yes, you can inhale some of that flame, because that's definitely what happened there. I don't know what you know, here it was. I don't have slow mo, but you know, here we go again. Get that exhale, get that inhale.
And he pulls it. It's already on fire as he pulls it out of his mouth too, man. It's just
Absolutely. So
if you play back again, you see the flame in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. I mean, seriously, that's like a blowtorch, man. Look at that thing.
Chuck in the chat is right. That's some HD level shit right there.
Oh my gosh.
That is HD
Please.
competition level shit.
Please, guys, don't do that. That is just, you know, that's asking for serious trouble. I mean, look at the size of that flame.
No shit.
Look at that thing.
If you really want to vape,
That seriously scorched some shit inside of his freaking throat. It had to. I mean, and I don't know if he was drunk, stoned, what it was, but I mean, look at the flame. That's a good 6 inches away from. I want to know what juice he had in there, because that shit's on fire.
Hey man, I mean, both the primary ingredients of our e-liquid is they're alcohol based, man. They're gonna catch on fire. Put too much.
if you really want to vape at that wattage, I will say send a fucking message to the guys in Gen 2, because they've kind of figured out how to build for it.
Yeah.
And they've had a lot of reports of people starting off also lighting their shit on fire. So you know, give them a message.
That just gives like a whole new definition to burnt hit. I mean, that's just terrible.
Yeah. That's the next level of dry hit. That's burnt hit.
Oh.
Let's roll that again, Mast, and then
It's
we'll.
like, Lord, it's a fire. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Fucking beast box.
Later.
Beast box.
Did it.
And I'll let you know.